Hello. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here on a Saturday night. It's a beautiful summer evening, and I was inspired to create something for our Ascension journey. So, thanks for being here. If you're stopping in, nice to connect. So for anyone that's new, this is my channel, my universe, things that I connect with, and what I like to share in these times of what many of us are calling the Ascension portal or gateway. Um, yeah. So I talk about a lot of these things on different platforms. I'm now doing a weekly show with Andy Martins. So if you catch that, it's on Facebook every Friday at 6 o'clock. So just different conversations about embodied wisdom, which is the wisdom that I've gained over time on being on this spiritual journey and in these incredible times on our planet right now, where we're becoming more and more aware of our soul, of our cosmic self, of our eternal self, and sharing that journey with others who are interested in that. So I've got this light show going on because I like enchantment. That's something that I've always loved to do as a child, was to have, gatherings and themes and dress up and dance and all of these beautiful events that I have had here at the Regeneration Oasis, a place in nature to connect with your own divine nature, and many other events and things like that. So as I'm closing this retreat center, I'm expanding into another area, and I will be using different centers and all of that, which will be a lot easier for me on the physical level to be able to continue to create and to to co-create with others and to have fun and to enjoy the ride and the journey of love that is happening right now. So today, on this DNA Ascension upgrading evening that we're going to have together, I am going to share some information that has been really coming through about the divine feminine energy rise, which is the Shakti, the Kundalini, the intuition that is all within us. And this information that is so powerful to connect with. And so the inner organic technology that we all have in our bodies, but also in our thoughts, our mind, and our electrical thoughts, which actually become things when we magnetize them into our being. So the whole thing about us being light bodies and all that, understanding the science behind it. And I want to thank my wonderful, amazing sister, Quirky Cosmo, if you want to check out her channel, where she talks a lot about these things. And she has, her way and her style. And we bonded through the genetic codes of the gene keys and basically the blueprint of what makes us a human. And a lot of this is light frequency sound, as we know, on the mystical path or in the scientific realm, in the quantum field. We are discovering just how actually true this is and how, we are the technology, basically. And this is what's so incredible to realize that and to tap into that energy. Now, some of the sacred texts, like, for example, the Pistis Sophia, is all about, and the Second Coming of Christ Consciousness, which is the Yogananda books, and all of these kind of prophetic sacred texts talk about the fall, of humanity. So the fall of consciousness, and then the rising of Sophia, where Sophia rises again when humanity, I have some text here that I wrote down from the book that I'm going to share with you. And the idea is that Sophia is wisdom, but eternal wisdom, the universal wisdom that we can all tap into, the field, the Akashic field of memory that we all share, the collective consciousness that we share with our planet, and all of the memory banks that we that we can actually channel. So everything is actually already known on, and then meditation is when we bring that information into ourselves. So the text of this Pistis Sophia is really incredible because sorry. It's still working. Yes. Okay, good. So just the fact that we are light beings and the Christos or the Christ, what is that? Like Christed beings, like, is that Jesus? Is that an external force or being or master, ascended master? Actually, Christ is within us. Like the Son of God is actually our inner sun. It's our inner core. The solar plexus and the heart has, when they merge together, there it creates some kind of alchemical transformation within the body, which allows us to tap into the sun and the spirit of our soul and our essence. And so this information to me is absolutely fascinating. And the science of DNA, RNA, DNA is actually the light strands within our body that spirals and captures light. So they're basically codes that are here to capture and open to the light and to allow more and more of that to stream into us. And that is what actually the ascension is. It's like a spiraling of our consciousness and our DNA into higher octaves, higher frequencies, higher dimensions. So that's what's amazing about the times we're in, is that we can actually, focus, energy flows where attention goes, and bring that light into us and allow the higher consciousness to embody more and more into our being and into the grids of Gaia. So into the matrix of the higher dimensions. So again, some call it the angelic human or the homo luminous, or there's many, many terms for the new type of human that is actually coming through with more and more light. And those of us who are born in a denser time, it could be more difficult, but we actually came to do the work to do our shadow work and transform the DNA into the transmutation or the transfiguration of Christ is actually the crystalline. So going from carbon based to more crystalline based, and that has something to do with our structure, our bones, and our cellular structure, and that's what, like I said, the DNA strands. And there's no such thing as junk DNA. All it is capturing more and more light. So we need to do this if we want to go in an organic ascension timeline. Now, we know that there's a lot of interference going on with that, and some of us are really tuning into that and are very sensitive to all the frequencies and all the chaos, and even getting things in our bodies that we don't want, and all of these things. So this is a choice point right now for people to make about their values. They're empowering themselves to choose a higher frequency reality. And again, I've been learning a lot about this with reality transurfing and the reality revolution. Anything that has to do with us becoming more of our empowered God-like beings, because we are creator beings, and God became man so that man can realize himself as God. And what does that actually mean? God is the creator. Everything emanates from the 0 point, from the point, and then radiates out into creation. And we can do that as well. And really, this is the hero's journey, about aligning with that and choosing that, and then seeing how your world opens up. And it's really incredible when that starts to happen. And I have many, many stories that I'm putting together also in my book, because I'm writing right now about these so-called, synchronicities that happen when you're tuning in to something that you desire. And desire is actually the sir, like so it's a God pulsation to actually want to go after something, like the desire that you have. And again, you can have a fantasy desire, but you can also have an aligned as, you know, your essence and your destiny desire, which is create synchro destiny. And there's a lot of information, well, not that much, but there is some information out there on synchro destiny that you can look up. But it's basically when you're aligning with your highest timeline and all of a sudden you're in flow, like what, you know, Bruce Lee talked about, being in the flow, be like water. And thankfully for me, I have a lot of water in my chart, and so I can, but I'm also very sensitive. I can absorb other energies. And so I've learned to protect myself, to create shields when I go out there, because it's important. And I didn't know all this, this kind of spiritual hygiene that I've been learning over the years. And it's been helping me, it's empowering me, and it's making me more strong. And, you know, not being in fear or any of that, because when you're in that love frequency, it's all about radiating that and actually bringing that into the grids, into anybody that you're just walking by or connecting with or smiling at or looking, you know, and for some it's uncomfortable because, you know, they just don't really like that. And that's, again, it's nothing personal, it's all frequency. So, and what's happening a lot is we're living in a kind of like a parallel reality with others, but we're not necessarily sharing the same reality. For example, if everybody's downtown watching a hockey game and they're all caught up in that egregore, which is an entity, or a, not an entity, but, you know, a collectively infused reality, then, you know, that has nothing to do with mine. I'm connected to the elementals, the trees, the birds, and then the very few friends that I've been, you know, close with, that I can trust, and all of that. So, so yeah, that's my reality at this moment. But I'm not in fear at all. I'm just living my truth, and that is actually what is being asked of us in the hero's journey, is what is your truth, you know, and how can you align with it more and more. And one way you can do that is look at what you always loved to do as a child, you know, these natural things. Did you like to play music? Did you like to paint? Did you like to create events? Did you like to I don't know, you know, play with your dolls and their hair and all these things? So they can give you clues to, you know, things that you just naturally were born into. And again, if you're like me, you've always been interested in, like, you know, ancient cultures and the pyramids and the hieroglyphs and, you know, just these ancient civilizations. And I really love Greg Braden and his work and all that. And he talks a lot also about this organic DNA ascension, and many are. My favorite go-to is really Sandra Walter. She's been my teacher for probably close to 5 years now. And I met her in Sedona. And she has a lot of beautiful decrees, which is when you speak very clearly to the universe, and you know, you pronounce a lot of I am, you know, light, I am love, I am grace, I am beautiful, I am. Anytime you say I am, it's like you're stepping into that God essence, and you're decreeing it. You're basically claiming it. You're saying to the universe. And so it gives it a lot of power. You know, the word in the beginning was the word, and also the law, which is the Lord. Those things, you can take the words into sacred text and say, every time it says the Lord, it's actually the law of the universe. So, you know, these are universal truths that can help us create our reality and be more in flow with what it is that you want to create in your reality. Because ultimately, that's when you're happy. That's the more you're yourself, the more you can be a creator, because we are made in the image of the creator. We are the creator. We're fractals of the one. And we are made to create, not to consume all the time, and not to get our information out there, but to go within. So the kingdom of God is within. And that means the technology is within, it's within our DNA, it's within the essence of your being. So to embody that essence is really that is the name of the game here. That's the ultimate goal as to what it is to have a human life and to exist in this reality that is shifting big time right now. So I think we're all feeling it. Some are talking about a great solar flash, which is a coronal mass ejection that will be coming through the sun and emitted into our planet. Others, there's different things on that. Some have had visuals. I'm not sure. All I know is that I feel that the sun and all of that, everything is happening from within to without. And these are Hermetic principles as well. So a lot of you are already aware of all that. And so the Pistis Sophia is this ancient script. And I'm just going to read a few because it says, alignment to the divine will, a stream of light upon the elect at the end of the planetary cycle, when Mother Nature, like Pistis Sophia, so when Sophia, the wisdom, falls, it's a story basically of Sophia. She cries out for help at the end because she's so stuck in the density and she's forgotten who she is. And she is in the depths of darkness. And anyone who's had a dark night of the soul here will understand what that is. It's like you don't even want to continue. You are done with this. And you're like basically, depressed, suicidal, all these things. And you've hit the bottom and you don't know what to do anymore. And so she cries out and so she gets the answer that she gets assisted. And at that time, the emanations of self-will will no longer be able to prevent the light stream from penetrating the walls of darkness and of chaos and approaching those who have achieved the awakening as the Pistis Sophia. So remembering the deep ancient wisdom and the organic template and the technology that we are. So we're remembering and we're going forward, and yet we're also going back in time. So that's because there is no time, because everything is a holographic, hologenetic matrix. And so, that's for us to choose the timeline we want to be in and align with who we are becoming or remembering ourselves as those eternal souls and beings that are basically ascended masters that have mastered the reality that they're a part of, and they're not victims anymore, or things are not happening to them. They're emanating and being created from them. So this is a different reality. And I'm not saying I'm there. I'm saying I'm focusing on that timeline, and I'm putting the energy and the frequency, which is love. It's the heart. It's the power that aligns us always with God. It's coming from that center and the solar plexus. And then the voice, which is our resonance and our way of vibrating our power into the world. So I know that I have friends, some women that have a hard time with that. And they can, because, there's a lot of issues with the throat and the being aligned and all of that. And in yoga, we, as a teacher, I've learned that, to vibrate from the solar plexus and to have a resonance with your voice, it carries and it creates another frequency. So these are tools, again, that I've learned along the way and that I would like to share. And we're going to do a mantra after. I'm going to chant a mantra, and you can chant with me. Normally you do it 108 times, which is the mala here and this is the guru at the end, which is 108 is 9, and it's that sacred number. And if you repeat it, you can go into a bit of a trance, and you can allow yourself to go into a deep meditative state. And I know for me, mantras have really been helpful for meditation, or to just align with that God frequency, because, these are tried and true technologies that have, passed through time, and we can just pick them and align with them and see how it feels. So we are, in effect, the superconductive signatures of God imprinted into the chemistry of life. So DNA is actually chemistry. It's the codons that make up our DNA. And again, I'm not a chemist or a scientist on that level, but I'm understanding how it really is connected. And that's why we need to also nourish our temples, our bodies with electrolytes and, nutrients and lots of greens and things like that. Do fasting sometimes to detox and get rid of any stagnation or anything that's been toxic. But even our thoughts or people or, the TV or all of this, like, turn it off, walk bare feet, put your back against a tree, breathe deeply, go into the essence of your being. These are all things that we can do, and really do it, because it's the practice that will actually bring that technology online and light it up. So, and when you are consciously saying, I am a conduit of the divine, I am the embodiment of my Christed being, then that's it. That's the key. You're choosing it, and so you're decreeing it, and your things cannot be imposed on you. And that's why no agenda and nobody can force anything. Okay, so that's something to remember. If you claim your sovereignty and your divinity, this is your birthright. This reality is transcending the main the main program, so-called program, that we came in with. We're not here for that. We're here to transcend it and to bring in the transfiguration and the transformation of the new human. And some of us are here to really do that. Others are just to be in the heart and to work on themselves. Most people, it is the working of the shadows and to really release the density in our DNA so that we can be lighter. So it really has to do with your own biology and releasing trauma, releasing, and that's why forgiveness is so important. And, being in grace and compassion and all of these things, we need to really tune ourselves to this. And that way, the light can easily come through, and you can speak your truth and you can live your truth. And that's what a beautiful thing. And we are destined to become eternal. So again, this whole thing of death and rebirth, like eventually we're going to go into this golden age, and we live a much, much longer time. And it has nothing to do with this kind of. So right now we're where we're at in the collective consciousness and on the timeline. But like I said earlier, that can also be transcended. So, that's where things get interesting to discover. And again, make sure that you have maybe assistance or a coach or someone that you can also be with if you're not comfortable with these things, because I don't want to, people to push, like, don't push anything. The Kundalini is a natural life force. And I've done years and years and years of practice. And I've had that, and hasn't been always easy. And it's been a whole integration to realize that that's what it was. And it's a whole process. So learn about that, the Kundalini and the life force, and but don't be scared of it, because it's natural, and it's been suppressed for a long time, this information, and yet the gurus and a lot of the priests and all that were tapping into to this information a long, long time ago, and had a lot of power. So the power is within us, and it's time to empower ourselves as from the center out. We're not going to be able to change these systems with the same level of vibration that they created in. You can't go into war and colonial patriarchy, and those systems are right from the core not going to be solid in these new energies. So that's what we're seeing now. And a lot of people are like, it doesn't make sense. There's a lot of chaos. Yes, there is, but there's something beautiful emerging out of that. And that's what we got to keep our focus on. So starseeds, or people who are remembering that they came here to do this kind of work, let's just keep encouraging each other and keep empowering each other. And don't be afraid. And, because you just align more and more with your essence, and you start to see that doors open. You're protected all the time. You get what you need when you need it. People are there to support you. It's a really beautiful world. And I am living that more and more. And as I let go of one chapter of my life, another door is opening, and it's beautiful, and it's aligning, and yeah, so trust and faith is really what this journey is all about. And that's in yourself to be able to make those choices. And the only way we can do that is to really center and align and listen deeply to the Shakti, the intuition, the inner God self that is whispering all the time, to be able to align with it and to choose your higher timeline. So true transmutation means ascension into the next limbs of hierarchical existence and a divine supernature. So that's where we're heading. Again, the timeline we don't really know, but certainly getting interesting. And there's a lot more that I wrote, but I'm not going to really get into too much of that because I don't want this video to be too long either and lose people. But that's fine. Again, those that are interested, they're still here. Thank you for those that have been with me. I mean, these last couple of years, it's been great. And thank you for your encouragement, and for those that actually downloaded my MP4 breathwork ascension journey. Thank you so much. And if you want to, again, send me your feedback or your experience, I would love that, just to know how you feel about that experience. But again, they're all unique, and you're going to get out of it just what you need in the moment, which is always perfect for all of us. So for me, it's about bringing this wisdom that I've been, and it's not that I know it all and all of that, you know, I'm not like a know-it-all or any of that, but I love this stuff and I spend a lot of time there, and I want to share that. And again, I've had, thankfully, now that things are opening up, and I've had amazing gatherings again here just a couple of weeks ago, and it was really beautiful. And there's so much more to come, and I'm really excited. But I'm just, like I said, changing the location, and but it will continue to be regeneration. Yeah. Also an art studio, so I'm excited about that. Just making things with our hands also, and small groups and things like that. So that's on the way. There's a lot of beautiful projects coming, and then bigger ones too, but that's aligning slowly but surely. And so I have this oracle deck called the White Light Oracle by Alana Fairchild. And I picked a card for these energies right now, and this is the energy. So you can see again the light streaming in, and kind of the self-love and nurturing. And I get that from the card. I've never gotten this card, but it's Obadir, that's her name, Obadir. I don't know who this is. But. So the reason I love to work with cards is because, well, again, these are transmissions from the artists and from the writers that work together. And they're very sacred. And to me, they're the modern sacred texts that we can connect with. And they're beautiful, and I wanted to share because often the messages coming through are like right on for what it is that I'm talking about and what needs to be transmitted out there. And you know, so I'm going to share that, and then we're going to do the mantra. We're going to chant the mantra for going into the heart of the universe within us and connecting to the heart of the universe all around us. So connecting together again, that breathing in, breathing out, kind of natural going with the flow of how life spirit is flowing through us through the breath. And we're going to connect to that. And then through the sound, the mantra, we're going to be able to just do that a little bit. And with the intention of upgrading our DNA and ascending into a little bit more of our higher self through the choice of doing that. Everything is a choice, and the timelines we're going into is we're spiraling every choice that we're making to spiral and ascend more and more into our soul, our divine essence, and the merge that happens with the personality, or the it's not even the personality, it's it's your essence. It's like, and right now you're embodying, you know, you took on a certain template of a human. But what we're becoming, we don't even know yet. You know, it's going to be, maybe it's like Avatar, maybe we're like 9 feet tall and blue, and who knows? I mean, this, if it's possible in the imagination, we can actually go there, and, you know, perhaps that's a parallel reality that, you know, so I don't know. Like I said, I don't know everything, but I'm super curious, and I'm willing to explore. This is an adventure in these times. Instead of focusing on the end of the world or climate change or these things that a lot of people are really focused on, and it creates a lot of fear and anxiety, and also blaming, you know, blaming and judging and all these things that are, you know, lower frequency emotions and energies that are not going to help us on the ascension. So I'm not saying to ignore or bypass, I mean, but I'm just saying you're going to get whatever it is you focus on. So become hyper aware of that. And you know, that is our superpower, is where we're putting our energy and what we want to create. So collectively, if we're choosing an ascension timeline and we're sharing with each other, which is, I'm part of, you know, a few groups that are doing that, and I'm so grateful because you can't talk about these things with too many people, and here I am, I have a platform that I can just express, and take it or leave it. It's like I'm sharing part of my world, and if you want to be part of it for a little while, wonderful. If you don't, you know, and I've always said that, and I will continue to say that, because it is our choice to what we want to connect with, and who, and what energy. And if it resonates with you, and you feel something in your heart and say, oh, this, you know, I like this truth, there's truth in here that I can bring into my reality, and I can share with people, or I can, you know, focus on, and all these things, then great, you know, that's a good thing to do. So I'm just going to read this, and then we'll do the mantra, and that'll be it. So do not turn away from your path, nor from what you know in your heart to be true. No matter what appears to be, nor what logic may dictate, trust what your heart is telling you. You are safe and protected by spirit. You are spiritually empowered with all you need to manifest your authentic path. You have what it takes to connect with the light and live that connection in practical ways which contribute positive energy to our human collective. Obedir is the Latin basis for the word obedience. Far from conforming to authority, the original meaning was to listen. That's interesting, eh? Listen. How many are actually listening? Not that many, but enough of us to shift the reality. It doesn't take the majority. It just takes a nice little group of highly aware and conscious people. And as we do that, we're on mission, we're on target, we're doing what we came here to do. And then we can fly back out and go into those higher frequency planets that we actually came from and enjoy those. Maybe it'll be a retirement. I don't know. But yes, hear and do not turn away. The oracle of Obedir is about becoming a sacred rebel, giving up faith in the ways of the world and embracing the ways of spirit unconditionally. That means refusing to torture yourself with horror stories that society and your own mind conjure up from time to time. This guidance is encouraging you to connect through your heart with the spiritual light, wisdom, and guidance from within. The oracle asks you to believe in the power of spirit to show you the way through all troubles. There is a message from our loving universe, and for you. You will feel it within your own heart. You may consider yourself to be a feisty, independent, strong person, rather than one who is docile and surrendered in spirit. A vibrant and powerful personality may feel initial resistance or confusion when asked to become soft to the ways of spirit. Yet this sort of obedience is not about giving away your power or becoming someone that you're not. When you are receptive to spirit, we become more unique and not less. This oracle asks us to get out of our own way. Often we make things more difficult for ourselves, even when our intentions are good. This is because we see things from a limited or partial perspective. It doesn't mean we should refuse to act at all. It just means that as we practice sensing and following spirit by tuning in to the heart, we will act from a more centered and wisely guided place. Our actions will be more likely to hit the mark. When we flow with greater wisdom of life, far-reaching positive consequences awaken. Recognizing that spirit is wiser than your personal opinion is the prelude to a true awakening. The more awakened we are, the more genuine benefit for all beings can unfold through all of our endeavors. To be clear, the guidance of this oracle is not to hand over your power, nor to seek spirit to tell you what to do. It is always up to you to exercise your free will and live your life as you choose. Sometimes the responsibility behind this freedom might seem like too much, but this is our task as human beings to own our freedom and exercise it with wisdom and delight. So when you trust your courage more than your doubt, you will be ready to listen to spirit and act on what you perceive. You will be capable, willing, and ready to live as light on this earth. This is so awesome. I love it. You are encouraged to ditch the drug of doubt. Doubt undermines your confidence and sends you on a mission to gain approval before making your decision. Approval can become the hit that alleviates doubt temporarily, but it prevents you from building the strength you need to listen for your own spiritual knowing. You have it within you to be spiritually sovereign. This oracle asks you to recognize your inner potential and to practice trusting yourself and your capacity to respond to life's unpredictable happenings with soul-honoring integrity. Voila! So there you go. Integrity to yourself, honoring yourself is so important. Or else, you know what? You can just get sucked into other timelines, other realities, negative frequencies, negative relationships. All of these things can just pull your energy and rip you apart until you're like a fish out of water gasping and like it's like, get me out of here, like Sophia, like just plunging into the depths of despair. Been there, done that. I'm done with that timeline. Thank you for the lessons. Never going back. So anyone who's been there, I think, can honestly say that they don't need these types of harsh lessons or and again, they're coming from yourself. They're coming from your self-doubt. They're coming from, believing other people instead of tuning into yourself and being influenced by others and getting, caught in just being just in their service and not in your divine sovereignty and service to yourself. And as your cup is full and you can radiate from your core God sun heart, then you can be in the world in that way. And it's funny, it's like even sun heart is like now really feeling like right for me. As for before, it was like kind of coming through, but I was like, and I've connected with everything, and I come back into my body, and I play with dissolving into the all and then remerging into a physicality. So I'm getting more and more comfortable with doing that, which is getting interesting. And so I will be probably creating more and more of these, like I said, book teachings. And for now, I have that breathwork journey that I will link under below. And you can always download that and experience that for yourself. And so that's that. And I'm going to, so we're going to do this mantra. That's hum hi hum BRAHM hum, HUMI hum BRAHM hum. And that is the center of the universe is within me, and I am in the center of the universe, and the universe is all around me. So it's like you're in and out, like I said before, the universe within and then the universe without. And HUMI hum, we are us. BRAHM hum is the whole universe is us. So we're going to connect to that. And so just get comfortable. You can straighten your spine. Important to feel length and straight so that any energy that is flowing, your central column is super important. The 33 vertebrae, the master number 33 is the spine because it is the rod of electromagnetic force that can actually take these energies up, in, down, back up, and just like, and then back out, in, into the cosmos. And then you can bring it back down. So again, with like any type of martial art or Qigong, we can bring the energies of the earth. You can kind of bring that up, offer it into the cosmos, and then bring it back down. You can do this a few times. If you want to stand up, you can do that. You just make yourself comfortable. Just as long as your spine is straight, because singing mantras, we can really allow a lot of that energy to flow. And it just starts happening by itself, just like breathing, and you can open up your channels, and it's a beautiful experience. And so we're going to chant this one. And I'm not going to do 108 times, but you can definitely do the 108 times if on your own, and you can do this as often as you want. I'm going to link the one I'm using here underneath. So you just tune in. You can put your hand on your heart too to really feel that sacred connection. Hum, hum, BRAHM, hum, 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 BRAHM, hum. Hum, hum, BRAHM, hum, hum, BRAHM, hum. Feel the resonance in your chest. Hum, BRAHM, hum, 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 BRAHM, hum. Hum, BRAHM, hum, hum, BRAHM, hum. Hum, 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 BRAHM, hum, hum, BRAHM, hum. Hum, hum, BRAHM, hum, hum, So you can keep going, you can come back and start. I'm gonna put the timer. Anyhow, that was just a little sampling of one vibratory practice. I'm already feeling the vibrations from my heart and my body and my cellular structure, and the intention for this evening and the transmission going through this platform. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I appreciate it. And I wish you all the very best on your soul journey and hero's journey. And I will be doing more of these. I'm wishing you all the very best. Stay centered in your divinity and your sovereignty. We got this. Okay. Bye.